title, an alien lord gave his useless daughter to a human. But she became a hero, a sci-fi HFY story. In the far reaches of the galaxy, beyond the territories of the United Earth Forces, an ancient alien lord sat upon a throne, his vast empire spanning multiple star systems. His name was Lord Zvar, ruler of the Xenothi, a race of towering beings known for their immense intellect, indomitable will, and technological superiority. But there was one thing Zvar prized above all: power. And yet, in his vast lineage, there was one daughter who was anything but powerful. Lena, Zvar's only child, was weak in the eyes of the Xenothi. Her mental faculties were dull compared to the sharp minds of her peers, her physical strength lacking in comparison to the warriors of her people. For years, Lord Zvar had tried to cultivate some semblance of greatness in his daughter, but time and again, she failed to meet his expectations. He had lost all hope for her. Lena, Zvar said coldly one day, his voice echoing through the grand hall of his palace. You are a failure. You are a disgrace to our bloodline. I cannot have you inherit my throne, nor can I allow you to remain here. You will be sent away. Lena looked up at her father with a mixture of confusion and sadness. She had always felt as though she were not quite enough, too weak, too unremarkable to matter. And now, her father's words confirmed it. She had failed. You will go to Earth, Zvar continued, his expression stone-like. I will offer you as a gift to their primitive kind. Perhaps they can make something of you. If you are to be useful at all, it will be there. Lena's heart sank. She had heard the stories of Earth, an underdeveloped planet, inhabited by a species of fragile beings who had yet to even conquer their own world completely. They were known for their perseverance, for their ability to thrive in adversity. But to be exiled to such a place felt like the ultimate insult. Still, there was no arguing with her father. The very next day, Lena was sent across the stars to Earth, arriving on a small human colony at the edge of the galaxy. She was weak, frail, and unremarkable in every sense, but she had no choice but to comply with her father's orders. She was left in the care of a human named Captain Alexander Alex Holt, a veteran of the United Earth Forces, a man known for his ability to lead men into battle and to bring order to chaos. Alex looked at the alien girl standing before him, a creature from the stars, her skin a pale shade of blue with delicate markings running across her face. She was the very picture of her people's arrogance and superiority. Yet there was something deeply fragile about her. He couldn't help but wonder what a man like him, a soldier in a ragtag human army, was supposed to do with a creature like her. You must be Lena, Alex said, his voice firm but gentle. Don't worry, I'll make sure you're safe here. We'll figure something out. At first, Lena struggled to adjust. The humans around her were curious but cautious, and she found herself often alone, trapped in the harsh reality of her own inadequacy. But Alex refused to treat her as an outcast. Instead, he began to teach her the ways of humanity. He taught her about perseverance, about strength that came not from the body, but from the heart. He showed her what it meant to be truly courageous, to stand up for what was right even in the face of overwhelming odds. One day, everything changed. A massive alien fleet, far more powerful than anything humanity had ever faced, arrived at Earth. Their intent was clear: conquest. Led by a faction of the Xenothi, they sought to claim Earth as their own and subjugate its people. The forces of Earth, though brave, were no match for the might of this invader. But Lena, despite her father's disdain for her, had learned much during her time on Earth. She had learned that strength wasn't about raw power or intellect. It was about determination, the will to never give up. And something inside her, something deep within her heart, awoke. When the Xenothi forces arrived on Earth, Lena stood ready. She was not the same timid, weak alien girl who had first arrived on the human colony. She had embraced humanity's most sacred qualities: resilience, courage, and an unyielding will to protect those she loved. In the heat of battle, Lena used the knowledge she had gained from Alex and the humans around her to outmaneuver the invaders. She found their weaknesses, exploited them, and fought with a fury that no one had expected. She may not have been the strongest, but she was willing to sacrifice everything for her new home. Through her efforts, Earth's forces were able to repel the invaders. The Xenothi fleet, stunned by Lena's unexpected heroism, was forced to retreat. The humans, who had once seen her as a burden, now saw her as their savior. In the aftermath of the battle, as Earth began to rebuild, Lena was hailed as a hero. No longer the useless daughter of Lord Zvar. She had proven that her worth was not measured by her heritage or her abilities, but by her heart. And, as for Lord Zvar, he could only watch from afar as his daughter became something far greater than he could ever have imagined. In the end, Lena had not only saved Earth, she had become the living embodiment of humanity's most powerful trait, the ability to rise, no matter how many times they fall. The end. Title: An alien lord gave his useless daughter to a human, but she became a hero. A sci-fi HFY story, Part 2. Months passed after Lena's victory, but the scars of war lingered. The remnants of the Xenothi invasion had left Earth's cities in ruins, and rebuilding efforts were underway. However, despite her newfound status as a hero, Lena still faced a challenge, proving to herself that she truly belonged among the humans she had come to love. Captain Alex Holt, her steadfast mentor and now trusted friend, watched her closely. Though the battle had ended, Lena's internal struggles had only begun. Her powers, though undeniably impressive, were still alien to her, and despite her success in battle, the shadow of her father's rejection loomed large. "You're still thinking about it, aren't you?" Alex asked one morning, finding her standing alone on the observation deck, staring at the horizon. Her pale blue skin was now a familiar sight to the humans, but there were moments when Lena still felt the weight of being different. Lena turned to face him, her expression weary. "I can't help it. My father. He sent me here as if I were nothing, a failure. Sometimes I feel like I'm still not enough, even with everything I've done." Alex stepped beside her, his eyes softening. "Lena, you did what no one expected, not even you. And that's the whole point. You're more than just what anyone, your father included, could ever see in you. You define your own worth now." She smiled faintly, but doubt still clouded her mind. What if this was just a fluke? What if I'm not meant to be more than the alien daughter of a lord who thought I was useless? Alex placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then you'd be just like the rest of us humans. None of us have our lives figured out. What makes us heroes is that we don't stop trying, even when the odds are against us." Lena's gaze lingered on the distant stars, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of peace. Perhaps Alex was right. Perhaps the path to greatness wasn't about bloodlines or expectations, it was about the courage to choose your own path, no matter how uncertain. But her reflection was interrupted by an urgent message from the United Earth Forces. "Captain Holt." "Lena." The voice crackled through the comms. "A new threat has emerged. An unknown fleet, far larger than the Xenothis, has entered our solar system. They've disabled our outer defense systems. We're being invaded." Alex's face darkened, and Lena's heart skipped a beat. The peace she had just begun to enjoy was shattered. She had seen the devastation the Xenothi had caused. Now, she had to protect what she had come to love. "I'm not leaving this time," Lena said, her voice steady. "This is my fight, too." Alex met her eyes, his gaze unwavering. "We fight together, then." The invaders were not Xenothi. The ships that appeared on Earth's radar were enormous and sleek, crafted from a material that shimmered with an ethereal glow. Their design was unlike anything humanity had seen before. The fleet did not make contact with Earth's forces, instead silently descending toward the planet's major cities, cutting off communication and transportation systems in their wake. As Earth's military scrambled to respond, Lena knew this would be different. The Xenothi had been formidable, but these invaders were something entirely new. They moved with purpose, and their technology was far beyond anything Earth had ever encountered. "We need a plan," Alex said as they stood in the command center, watching the chaos unfold. The Xenothi were one thing, but this, we don't know who they are or what they want. Lena stood tall, her posture solid and determined. Her time on Earth had given her a greater understanding of its people, their resilience, their resourcefulness, and their willingness to fight for their future. She was ready to take action, but the odds were against them. The invaders had already shown their ability to neutralize Earth's defenses, and it was clear they were prepared for anything. "Then we show them what humans are capable of," Lena said with a fierce glint in her eyes. "I'll draw them in. You take your forces and flank them. We can use their arrogance against them." Alex hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "We'll need to get you close enough to make a strike, but their ships are too powerful. How do you plan to survive their attacks? Lena's lips curled into a confident smile. I don't need to survive. I just need to make them think I'm dead. The battle began with a sudden, overwhelming force. The invaders' fleet descended upon Earth with terrifying speed, their ships deploying energy pulses that decimated the outermost defense stations. As they moved closer to the surface, they showed no mercy. Cities were flattened, infrastructure destroyed. But Lena was ready. She and Alex had devised a risky plan. She would confront the invaders alone, drawing their attention while the rest of Earth's military regrouped. She would attack with everything she had, knowing full well that she might not make it out alive. But if she could buy time for the humans, she would. Dressed in the armor of a fallen Xenothi soldier, Lena approached the invaders' lead ship. It loomed over her, a massive monolith of swirling energy. As her ship docked with the invaders' flagship, she made a final check of her weapons, an array of energy blades and plasma cannons that would be nothing compared to the alien technology around her. But she had something the invaders didn't, the will to fight for the world she had come to love. Inside the flagship, the invaders were waiting, their forms shimmering like holograms, tall, slender beings with an otherworldly presence. They looked at Lena with disdain, assuming she was just another failed attempt by Earth to fight back. You cannot defeat us, child of the stars, one of them said, its voice smooth and cold. Your kind is weak, and we are the future of the universe. Lena's heart burned with a new resolve. She had heard this before, the belief that some beings were destined for greatness while others were left behind. But she was done being seen as weak. I may not be the strongest, she said, her voice carrying the weight of the countless sacrifices of humanity. But I fight for something stronger than your arrogance. I fight for the future of Earth. With those words, she unleashed a flurry of attacks. The invaders, caught off guard by her ferocity, struggled to respond. Lena moved with the speed and precision that Alex had taught her, exploiting weaknesses in their defenses, using their own overconfidence against them. As the battle raged on, Alex and the human forces mounted a coordinated attack on the invaders' remaining fleet. The unexpected resistance from Lena and the humans threw the invaders into disarray. But Lena wasn't finished. With a final, desperate push, she activated a series of destabilizing devices on the flagship, devices that would take down their shields and allow Earth's forces to destroy the ship from within. The flagship exploded in a dazzling burst of energy, and the invaders' fleet began to retreat. Earth was saved. Lena had done it, not as the daughter of a powerful alien lord, but as a hero who had chosen her own path. And for the first time, Lena truly believed it. She was enough, more than enough. The end, for now. Title: An alien lord gave his useless daughter to a human, but she became a hero. A sci-fi HFY story, Part 3. In the wake of the second victory, Earth began to heal once again. Cities that had been reduced to rubble were being rebuilt. The invaders, those enigmatic beings who had once seen Earth as nothing more than a speck to be crushed, were no longer a threat. But as the dust settled, the world began to ask one question: who was Lena? And what did her future hold? Lena, once discarded by her father, now stood as a symbol of Earth's triumph. People hailed her as the savior of their planet, a hero who had faced impossible odds and emerged victorious. But in the quiet moments, when the celebrations faded into memory, Lena was left with a new set of uncertainties. She had proven herself to humanity, but could she truly be a part of it? Could she ever belong in this world, among humans who had so much to fight for, and yet, so little understanding of her past? Captain Alex Holt, ever the pillar of support, saw the growing unease in her eyes. He knew that despite her outward confidence, Lena still struggled to reconcile the alien heritage that had cast her aside with the humanity she had come to embrace. Still thinking about it? Alex asked one evening, finding her standing at the edge of a ruined cityscape. Her gaze lingered on the stars, distant and endless. I don't know what to do now, Alex, Lena confessed. I've saved Earth, but that's not enough. I'm not sure where I fit in anymore. I've never been a part of something before. Not really. Alex stepped up beside her, his expression serious. Lena, you've already shown everyone that you belong here. You fought for Earth. You fought for humanity. You've earned a place among us. But it's not just about the battle, Lena murmured. It's about who I am. I can't change my bloodline. I can't change what my father thinks of me. I'm still his daughter. And I'm still different. Alex paused, then gave her a gentle smile. Maybe what matters is that you're choosing your own future now. You're more than just a daughter of some alien lord. You're Lena, and that's who matters. His words lingered in her mind, but Lena wasn't sure if they were enough to quiet the turmoil within her. Meanwhile, the galactic community had begun to take notice of Earth's surprising resilience. The Xenothi, still humiliated by their defeat at the hands of Lena, began to whisper of Earth's newfound strength. There were rumors that Zvar, Lena's father, was preparing to return to Earth, not as a conqueror, but with something far more dangerous, an offer. It wasn't long before a high-ranking emissary from the Xenothi Empire arrived on Earth, seeking an audience with the leaders of humanity. Their message was clear: Lord Zvar wished to speak with his daughter. The news hit Lena like a wave crashing against the shore. She was no longer the weak, useless daughter who had been cast aside. She was a hero, a force in her own right. But facing her father again was something entirely different. The last time she saw him, he had given her away as if she were nothing. Alex watched her carefully as the message arrived. You don't have to do this, you know. Lena shook her head, her resolve hardening. I have to. This isn't just about me anymore. It's about showing myself, that I am my own person. I'm not his pawn. Alex nodded, understanding her determination. I'll be with you, Lena. Whatever happens, you're not alone. The meeting with Zvar was held in a secure facility at the heart of Earth's capital. The Xenothi emissary had made it clear that Zvar would come in person. Earth's leaders, unsure of how to proceed, agreed to allow Lena to meet her father alone, but they were ready to act if anything went wrong. When Zvar arrived, his towering figure seemed even more imposing in person. His eyes, once full of cold judgment, now looked at Lena with something that could almost be described as curiosity. He was still a being of immense power, far beyond what any human could fathom, but there was a new tension in his gaze. Lena, he said, his voice booming in the sterile room, you have become quite the symbol on this planet. I didn't expect this. Lena stood tall, her shoulders squared. I've proven that I'm more than what you thought I was, more than the failure you cast aside. Zvar regarded her, his expression unreadable. You've achieved much, but you should understand that your victory here was a fluke. Earth is insignificant in the grand scheme of the galaxy, and yet, you chose to fight for it, for them. Lena's heart raced. You don't understand. Earth is everything to me now. I'm not some trophy you can give away when it suits you. I fought because I believe in what humanity is capable of. Zvar's eyes narrowed. And what if I told you that I could offer you a place beside me once again? You could have power, control everything you were denied here. You wouldn't have to be one of them. Lena's stomach turned at the thought. It was what he always offered: power, dominance, superiority, but that was no longer the life she wanted. No, she said firmly. I don't need your power. I've found my place here, with humanity. I'm more than you ever gave me credit for. There was a long pause. Zvar studied her with a mix of admiration and disappointment. So be it. If you will not join me, then you are no longer my daughter in any sense that matters. His words stung, but Lena did not flinch. She had already chosen her path, and it was not with him. As Zvar turned to leave, Lena's mind flashed back to her earlier conversations with Alex. I'm not a pawn, she whispered under her breath. I'm Lena. With that, she turned to the human leaders, her gaze unwavering. I choose Earth. I choose my own future. As the days passed, Earth's leaders saw the truth of Lena's words. She was no longer the daughter of a mighty alien lord, nor was she just a hero who had saved their world. She was something far more important, a symbol of humanity's capacity to rise above its origins, to choose its destiny and fight for it. Lena had found her place not by blood or by fate, but by the choices she made. She had chosen to stand by humanity, to fight for a future where people like her, people who had been cast aside, underestimated, and misunderstood, could become something greater. And in that, Lena became the ultimate hero, not because she was the daughter of a powerful alien, but because she was human, in every way that mattered. The end, for now. Title: An alien lord gave his useless daughter to a human, but she became a hero. A sci-fi HFY story, Part 4. In the wake of her father's rejection, Lena had found a peace she never thought possible. She was no longer tethered to her past, no longer a child of a powerful alien lord whose only legacy had been to deem her a failure. Now, she was her own person, a human hero, celebrated by the very people she had fought to protect. Yet, even as Earth began to rebuild and life moved on, the galaxy around her was stirring, and not all the forces watching were as benevolent as humanity had come to expect. Weeks after Svar's departure, an unknown fleet arrived in Earth's orbit, larger, far more advanced than any threat humanity had faced before. It wasn't an invasion, but a message. A cryptic transmission crackled through every communication channel on Earth, speaking in a language that had never been heard before. But despite its complexity, the message was clear: we are watching you. The arrival of this new force did not immediately incite panic, but it was enough to bring back old fears. Was it a Xenothi faction? Or perhaps an even older enemy of Svar's people? The questions lingered in the minds of Earth's leadership, and they knew one thing for certain: Earth would need to be ready. The United Earth Forces quickly set up a defensive perimeter, and although humanity had made significant progress in their spacefaring technology, they were still far from the power the alien fleets commanded. But humanity had one advantage: Lena. "I know you're still processing everything," Alex said, his voice filled with concern as he watched Lena train in the Earth's military facility. The battle simulation she was running was almost flawless, her speed, agility, and strategic insight far surpassing that of the best human soldiers. "I'm not processing anything," Lena replied, her breath steady as she ran through the simulation again. "I'm preparing. There's something coming, Alex. I can feel it. It's not just about fighting for Earth anymore. I think this is bigger than anything I've faced." Alex approached her, his expression hardening. "You think it's connected to your father, don't you?" Lena nodded. "It has to be, the way he looked at me. I didn't believe it then, but now I think I know the truth. He was testing me, and now, it seems someone else has noticed Earth. I don't think they're here for peace." Alex clenched his fists. "If it's a fight they want, we'll give it to them. We don't back down." Lena met his gaze, determination written across her face. "I won't let Earth fall. I'll stand with them, no matter what." As Lena and Alex prepared for the looming conflict, the mysterious fleet in Earth's orbit finally made their move. A small, sleek vessel detached from the main fleet and descended toward the planet's surface, landing in a remote, undisclosed location. The Earth Defense Council, still on high alert, immediately dispatched a team to investigate. The vessel's hatch opened, and a lone figure stepped out, tall, with skin a dull gray and features both humanoid and alien, yet oddly familiar. His eyes, silver with flecks of blue, locked onto Lena as if he had been searching for her specifically. "I am Vala, envoy of the Veshira. We seek an audience with the one called Lena, the hero of Earth," the figure said, his voice smooth and unassuming, but with an edge of authority. Lena stepped forward, eyes narrowed. There was something unnerving about the way this alien spoke, his words laden with an understanding of her as if he already knew who she was, and that only made her more wary. "I'm Lena," she said, her voice firm, "and you're the one who's been sending us messages." Vala nodded. "Indeed, my people have been watching your world for some time, ever since the fall of the Xenothi fleet. We were intrigued by the actions of the daughter of Lord Svar. You have proven that you are more than what you were born to be." Lena bristled at the mention of her father, but she didn't let it show. "What do you want with me, and with Earth?" Vala's expression softened slightly, but there was no mistaking the gravity of his words. "We come as allies, but with a warning. There is a greater threat in the galaxy than anything you have yet faced. A force that seeks to dominate all, an ancient order known as the HFY. They are relentless, and they have taken notice of your world." Lena's heart raced. "The HFY? Who are they?" Vala's eyes darkened. "They are an empire older than even the Xenothi. They have destroyed countless civilizations in their quest for total control, and now they are coming for Earth." The weight of his words settled heavily on Lena's chest. Earth had been lucky to survive the Xenothi, but now, the true danger had arrived, and it seemed like this mysterious alien envoy was offering assistance, but at what cost? "You expect me to trust you?" Lena asked, her tone sharp. "I understand your skepticism," Vala replied, bowing his head slightly, But you will have no choice but to trust us if you wish to protect your world. We are not the only ones who have noticed your potential. The HFY will stop at nothing to subjugate you. And, unlike the Xenothi, they will not leave a trace of your people behind. Lena turned to Alex, her mind racing. She had just come to terms with the fact that she had found a home among the humans. But now, the fight was no longer just about proving herself, it was about saving the entire world. Alex, we need to act fast. I don't care who these people are, but if they can help us fight the HFY, we need to take that chance. But we need to be careful. We've seen what happens when we trust the wrong people. Alex placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. I've got your back, always. Days later, Earth's military had come together to prepare for the worst. Vala's fleet, which was far less imposing than the HFY, provided Earth's forces with advanced technology, including weapons that could potentially match the power of the HFY. The Veshura, however, had one condition for their alliance. Lena had to accompany them to their homeworld. They wanted her to meet their leaders, those who had watched her rise from the depths of despair to become a symbol of resistance. What do they want from me? Lena asked, staring at the Veshura ships that would soon take her beyond Earth's orbit. Vala's expression remained impassive. They wish to see if you are truly the leader your people believe you to be. The HFY are not the only threat in this galaxy, and your bloodline, though tainted by your father's actions, carries an unusual strength. You are a bridge between worlds. Lena, whether you like it or not, your destiny is bigger than Earth alone. Lena felt a deep unease. She had already chosen her path, but the weight of what lay ahead was something even she hadn't anticipated. The future was a vast unknown, and yet, she knew one thing for certain: she would not let Earth fall. She would fight, as a daughter of the stars, and a champion of humanity. As the ships left Earth's atmosphere, Lena looked down at the planet she had sworn to protect. The battle for her world, for her future, was far from over, and this time, the stakes were higher than ever. The end, for now. Title: An alien lord gave his useless daughter to a human, but she became a hero. A sci-fi HFY story. Part 5. The journey to the Veshura homeworld was long, a silent testament to the growing uncertainty in Lena's heart. The fleet of Veshura ships, sleek and formidable, surrounded Earth's makeshift defense force. As the ships moved further into deep space, Lena couldn't shake the feeling that her destiny was shifting, perhaps in ways she couldn't yet understand. She had fought for Earth, for the people who had accepted her, but now she was leaving it behind to meet those who had claimed to be allies, and yet, she didn't trust them. Vala, who had become her guide and sometimes reluctant mentor, stood at her side as she gazed out the observation window, watching the distant stars blur past them. Do you truly believe we're your allies, Lena? Vala asked suddenly, his voice calm, but tinged with something that almost sounded like curiosity. Lena stiffened but didn't look away from the window. I want to believe that you're here to help, but everything about this feels off. You said you're fighting the HFY, but I can't shake the feeling that you want something more. And why are you helping Earth of all places? Vala didn't respond right away. He seemed to weigh his words carefully. The HFY are not just another enemy. They have conquered countless worlds. Entire civilizations have fallen to them. The reason we're helping Earth, Lena, is not out of kindness. It's because your planet's resistance to the Xenothi, to the invasion, to everything, is something the galaxy has never seen before. It's a symbol of hope, a beacon that if Earth can stand against this dark tide, maybe the rest of the galaxy can too. Lena turned to face him, her brow furrowing. Hope? You want Earth to be the spark that lights a galaxy-wide war? It is already happening, Vala said quietly, his eyes intense. The HFY are spreading like a plague. They have been in the shadows for millennia, but now, they have noticed the surge of strength in your world. They see Earth as a threat, one that could unite the galaxy against them. If they don't crush you first, they will have to face every civilization they've subjugated, banding together to overthrow them. Lena swallowed hard. This wasn't just about her anymore. She had always known that her struggle for Earth's survival wasn't going to be easy, but now, she understood that the stakes were much higher. This wasn't just a fight for her world, it was a fight for the future of the galaxy. And you think we can win? Lena asked, her voice barely a whisper. Vala met her gaze. I do not know, but I do know this: You are not the weakling your father believed you to be. If anyone can lead the galaxy's resistance, it's you. His words, though laced with confidence, carried a weight she hadn't anticipated. The pressure of what he was implying was almost too much to bear. She had fought for humanity, for Earth, but now, with the fate of entire civilizations on her shoulders, the task ahead seemed insurmountable. As they neared the Veshura homeworld, the magnitude of the journey began to sink in. The planet was an ancient world, its surface glowing with shimmering cities and towering spires of metal and light. It was a breathtaking sight, though undeniably cold and clinical. The Veshura civilization was technologically advanced, but their architecture was stark and devoid of warmth. It felt as though everything had been designed with precision, but without the human element of life and personality that made Earth so uniquely vibrant. Lena could feel the weight of the Veshura's gaze as they landed. The atmosphere of the world felt suffocating, and even her enhanced senses couldn't escape the oppressive silence that hung over the city. Vala led her through the streets, and despite their serene beauty, she could not shake the feeling of being on display. The people of the Veshura watched from their towers, their gaze cold and assessing. They soon arrived at the heart of the city, a towering structure that radiated power. Inside, an assembly of high-ranking Veshura officials awaited her, their sharp eyes analyzing her every movement. At the center of the room stood the Veshura Council, each member exuding a sense of authority that was hard to ignore. These were beings that had survived millennia, and their eyes, though filled with wisdom, held an unsettling coldness. The leader of the council, a tall figure with pale skin and platinum eyes, stepped forward. His voice was like music, smooth and melodic, but it carried an undeniable force. "Lena," he said, his tone acknowledging both her heritage and her accomplishments. "You have shown great resilience, but now, you must prove that you are worthy of the responsibility we seek to bestow upon you." Lena narrowed her eyes. What responsibility? The leader's gaze did not waver. The galaxy is on the brink of war. The HFY will not stop until they have eradicated every civilization that opposes them. We have watched Earth's progress. Your people, your strength is unique. We will offer you the chance to unite the scattered forces of the galaxy. In return, we offer you our full support. Weapons, technology, our fleet, everything you need to stand against the HFY. Lena's heart raced. It was everything she had fought for, but it felt like there was something more, something hidden beneath the surface of their offer. "And if I refuse?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. The Veshura leader's expression remained unchanged, but his words were cold. "You will face the HFY alone, as will the rest of your people. We do not make such offers lightly." It was a choice she had to make. The weight of the galaxy was upon her, and the future of Earth, her world, depended on her decision. Vala stepped forward, his voice steady. "The Veshura are not perfect, Lena. We have our own motives, but the HFY will destroy you if you stand alone. This is the only path forward." Lena stood still, her mind racing as she considered everything that had led her here. She had always fought for Earth, for the people who had given her a chance. But now, she was no longer just fighting for Earth. She was fighting for the survival of everything she held dear. She would lead the charge, unite the galaxy, or perish trying. Finally, she spoke, her voice resolute. "I will accept your offer, but know this, I will never be a puppet. If you truly want me to lead, you will let me lead on my own terms. No manipulations, no hidden agendas." The Veshura leader's eyes gleamed with what could almost be described as approval. "Very well, Lena. We will trust in your judgment. Prepare yourself. The HFY are closer than you think." Back aboard the Veshura fleet, Lena felt the weight of her decision settle into her bones. She had taken a step into the unknown, into a galaxy filled with alliances, deceit, and war, but she would not let fear control her. As Earth prepared for the inevitable conflict, Lena made her way to the bridge of the Veshura flagship. The fleet stretched before her, the stars beyond a vast, unknown expanse. She took a deep breath, steadying herself for what was to come. The HFY were coming, and they would not stop until they had consumed everything. But Lena was ready. For Earth, for humanity, for the galaxy. She would stand as their hero. And this time, she would not be the one cast aside. To be continued. Title: An alien lord gave his useless daughter to a human. But she became a hero, a sci-fi HFY story, Part 6. The Veshura fleet loomed like a vast, silent shadow in the void of space. Lena stood at the center of the Veshura flagship's command deck. The sleek, metallic walls around her reflecting the gravity of what lay ahead. Her every step had brought her closer to this point, closer to the war that would decide the future of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. At her side, Vala stood with his usual impassive expression. "We are on the brink of something much larger than any of us could have imagined," he said, his voice steady but carrying an undercurrent of something ancient, something beyond time. Lena nodded, her fingers lightly grazing the command console before her. It was a symbol of power, but also responsibility. She wasn't just here as a representative of Earth anymore, she was the commander, the leader of the galaxy's last hope. The Council had given her their technology, their weapons, and most importantly, their trust. But with it came the understanding that she would have to lead in ways she hadn't yet learned. The reality of war was no longer distant. The HFY, an ancient empire that had remained dormant for millennia, were waking. Their ships, vast and oppressive, had begun to converge on known space, and Earth had caught their eye. Their need for conquest would soon collide with the fierce resilience that Earth had cultivated. The door to the command deck slid open, and Alex entered, his face as serious as ever. He had stayed behind on Earth when Lena left, helping prepare humanity for what was coming. But now, with the galaxy at stake, he had joined her on the Veshura flagship to coordinate with their fleet. "You're not alone in this, Lena," Alex said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "We've trained the humans, and they're ready. Earth might not have the same technology, but we have something the HFY don't need: determination. They'll fight for you. For Earth." Lena gave him a small smile, her heart warmed by his unwavering support. "And that's why we're going to win." The first strike came without warning. A massive rift in space tore open, and through it poured the HFY fleet. Their ships were enormous, towering structures made of jagged metal and pulsing energy. Their presence was like a dark cloud, sucking the life and hope from everything in their path. "They're here," Vala said, his voice grim as he observed the incoming threat on the viewscreen. "Prepare yourselves." Lena's hands moved across the console, her mind working faster than ever. The Veshura had given her control over their fleets, and now, with Earth's military backing her, she had the means to fight. But the question remained, would it be enough? "We need to intercept them before they reach Earth," Lena ordered, her voice cutting through the tension. "Deploy the fleet, now." "Coordinates locked," Alex confirmed, his eyes scanning the incoming data. "The HFY have deployed their flagship as well. It's the size of a moon." Lena's eyes narrowed. The HFY flagship was a monster, a symbol of their might and their intent to destroy everything that stood in their way. It was the vanguard, and it would take more than just weapons to defeat it. It would take strategy, willpower, and something the HFY had never expected: unity. "Deploy the fighters," Lena commanded, her mind already mapping out their best chance of success. "Form up with Earth's fleet. The Veshura will take the lead, but we need to protect our people." The space around them lit up with the glow of launching ships, their engines roaring as they sped into the vastness of space. Their mission clear: hold the line. The battle began in earnest, and the stars were filled with flashes of light as ships from both sides clashed in the darkness. The Veshura fleet, with its advanced technology, was a deadly force, but the HFY had sheer numbers and raw power on their side. The ships of the HFY emitted a strange, unnatural energy, their weapons capable of tearing through the hulls of even the most advanced vessels. Lena stood at the command deck, her eyes fixed on the live feed of the battle. The screen was a blur of explosions and maneuvering ships. Earth's fleet was holding its own, but it was clear that the HFY were not going to go down without a fight. "Lena, the HFY flagship is advancing," Alex said urgently. "They're targeting the Veshura ships. If we don't do something, they'll tear through us." Lena's heart pounded in her chest. The HFY flagship was a living nightmare, and it was headed straight for them. But she couldn't let fear paralyze her. "Get me in contact with Vala," she said, her voice low but determined. "I need to speak to him now." Moments later, Vala's face appeared on the screen, his expression unreadable. "What is it, Lena?" "We need to take down that flagship," Lena said, her mind working in overdrive. Do you have any weapons capable of piercing its defenses? Vala hesitated for a moment. We do, but it will take time to recharge our weapons. And even then, it may not be enough to destroy it. Lena's eyes blazed with determination. We don't have time. I'll lead a team to board it. If we can disable their command center, we can stop the fleet's coordination. Vala's expression softened slightly. You are truly the leader your people need, but be cautious. The HFY will not be easy to defeat. I'll be careful, Lena said, already moving toward the door. We don't have a choice. Earth needs us. The boarding team was small but powerful, composed of the best from both Earth and the Veshera. They boarded their stealth ships, slipping through the chaos of the battle to the belly of the HFY flagship. The massive, pulsating ship loomed ahead, its surface covered in strange, alien markings and weapon emplacements. It was a ship born from war, its every inch designed to crush all who dared oppose it. Lena's heart raced as they approached the docking bay. The air was thick with the smell of ionized metal and the hum of energy shields. Stay sharp, Lena commanded as they disembarked. We breach the command center, and we disable it, no matter what. The doors to the flagship opened, and the team rushed inside, guns drawn, ready to face whatever the HFY had in store. The ship's corridors were dark and alien, filled with strange sounds and eerie vibrations. It wasn't long before they encountered the HFY forces, grotesque, armored warriors who resembled a nightmarish fusion of insect and machine. The battle was brutal, but Lena's team fought with precision and unity, cutting through the HFY with relentless determination. She led the charge, her every movement calculated, her every strike designed to incapacitate, not kill. Finally, they reached the heart of the flagship, the command center. It was a sprawling, cavernous space, filled with strange consoles and alien technology. The HFY commander, a towering figure draped in dark armor, stood at the center, watching them with an unblinking stare. You think you can defeat the HFY? The commander's voice echoed in their minds, as if speaking through the very walls. We don't need to defeat you, Lena said, her voice cold and resolute. We just need to stop you. With a single motion, she activated the Veshera tech embedded in her suit, unleashing a pulse of energy that disrupted the HFY's command systems. The flagship trembled as its control systems went haywire. The HFY commander roared in fury, but it was too late. Back in space, the tide of battle began to shift. The HFY flagship faltered, its coordination lost. Earth's fleet, combined with the Veshera, pressed the advantage, and the HFY forces began to retreat. Lena stood in the command center, breathing heavily, as her team gathered around her. The battle wasn't over, but this was a critical blow, and she had led them through it.